Royals, 007, Harry Potter. There's so much more that the UK has to offer culturally. Let's talk more about that. Stacey Jones, CEO of Hollywood Branded, joins me now from Houston, Texas. Welcome to the show, Stacey.
Good evening, good day. How are you? It's so nice to be here.
Good evening. Of course, we saw the adaptation of Downton Abbey into a movie, but really the larger question here is the popularity of the British culture. Do you think this is driven mostly by the cross-Atlantic or the Anglo-American audience, or do you think this is a global phenomenon?
Well, I first of all think that the entire British Empire has touched every continent in this world. So we're all fascinated. It's definitely something in America that we love. We love the sophistication, the hierarchy. You know, there's a whole air of mysticism and something that we just don't understand, and we want and love having a better glimpse into that world.
But why do you think that is the case? I mean, not just the Downton Abbey show, but think about Crown on Netflix. That is even generating a buzz in mainland China, where I was born and raised. Also, the adaptation of Downton Abbey. Why are people still fascinated by the life of the upper classes and the royal family?
Well, it's not something that we experience on a daily basis, right? I mean, we have a very different political structure, and it seems very unique and foreign. It's something that has elements to it that we just don't even understand. And when these shows pull back the curtains and let us into that world, it's very exciting.
And then to what extent do you attribute the popularity of the British culture films to the fact that English has become the lingua franca of the world in the past 60, 70 years?
Well, I think for one thing, having the accent there is something that lets all of us see that there's something very unique, and we feel that it's a little different. Overall, it's just such a phenomenal world. It's something that, you know, it seems smarter, it seems edgier. The content that's being produced in Britain that is around royalty, that is around anything that has to do with that overall culture it's just so unique.
And then talk to us about Downton Abbey related tourism boom. There has been one, no?
Yes, it's massive. So you've seen Highclere get over 1,200 visitors now on a daily basis. They're just making a lot of money from that. You have people going over to England specifically just to tour. And this is not something that's unique to Downton Abbey. This is something that happens with Game of Thrones. You've seen in Northern Ireland over a 40 million increase in tourism. You have Croatia that has over 2,500 tours where you can see Game of Thrones. So this is very specific to television in foreign lands. It becomes a driver to get tourism to increase.
But also the shows have also given a resurgence, if you will, of the domestic services industry. Butlers, maids came to mind.
Yeah. There is. So, you know, anything in the world of something unique that's being put into a television show, into a feature film, it acts almost like a product placement. So when we're looking at butlers, you're seeing in China a very elite opportunity to engage and have something that seems, you know, that you're able to get from a royal basis. And it's a heightened opportunity to separate yourself out from others.
You know, being in Asia, people talk about this cultural deficit, if you will, as fast as China and India have emerged on the global stage, economic-wise and military-wise. They still have a lot of catching up to do in terms of exporting their cultural products. How do you think the emerging countries like China, like India, can catch up with the UK?
Well, I think that, honestly, using television and film is one of the best ways to do that. Our society is so glued into the many screens that we look at, and when you add in celebrities and when you add in any air of stardom to it, whether that is through major influencers that we're exposed to, or whether that is the content that we see, you're going to have more of an interest. I mean, we've seen that with films from India. We've already seen that from films, even Australia. If something happens in Australia, we're glommed onto that, and we're interested in those countries because they are different and they're just foreign enough from America's culture or pretty much any other culture that you're around that it intrigues you.
All right, Stacey Jones, CEO of Hollywood Branded, thanks so much for joining us tonight.